Hi, this is Summer's Tips and Stitches. And this is a yarn chat video. I don't have as much to talk about because I did have a very busy week, but I'm going to open my KnitCrate that I got when I was at my teacher's convention. This is actually Sunday, and I believe I probably got this on Friday. Like I said, I had a teacher's convention. Came home Saturday. We had so much to do. I just figured I'd wait till my Sunday videos to open it. So let's open the KnitCrate, review the pattern, the books, and then I have some more chatting to do. So let's see. Woo! You guys, you know how I love my purples. Ooh, this is... You guys, I'm so excited. This, you've all seen this probably opened by Ella and everybody else, but this is one of those chainette ones. I have a purple chainette. Oh, you can't see. It's too high up for y'all. So I'm so excited. This is Vitellana. I'm going to tell you, though, the touching of it feels really weird. Ooh, this is 100% fine Peruvian Highland wool. It's a sport weight, so very close to DK. You know I love DKs. 328 yards. Hand wash only, lay flat to air dry. Look at that. It's like a dark purple, light purple, and kind of like a little bit, maybe a tiny thread of reddish in there. I love it. And you got two of them. Now, this is probably something I personally would not make a cowl or a sweater with because I don't like to be itchy. And then, what is this? A custom stitch marker. Oh, and it's a, you know what? They're getting smart, you guys. It's a circle one, if you could see past all of my stuff. But it also has like the latch on it, so us crocheters can use it too. Good job, KnitCrate. I'm going to be honest, I love getting little tiny presents. I don't know. Okay, so this is the membership yarn. And again, thank you, Tina. I am so happy with the color. Hopefully Holly, if she's still doing this, I remember a while ago, she got some colors that were like, oof, and I felt bad for her. Holly, I hope you are able to go to the KnitCrate site if you're still getting it and change it to get your color. Because whereas I would have been okay with the green, not my favorite. As you know from my last yarn review, this, not at all. I'm making something with some Yarn Bee yarn, and I'm going to cut that color out. But this purplish color is so beautiful. I'm so happy. I'm so happy they let you do that now because I would not have been happy with that broken stones. This is called Tassel, my purplish one, which I should have like the whole time I'm talking because it's so beautiful. But then I'd block my new little sign, which says Yarn Chat now. Okay, so the sock yarns are gorgeous, or like I almost want to say gorge. Lots of bright, fun colors. These would make awesome socks. Knock your socks off. They have a beautiful crochet pattern. Look at that. You know what? I'm probably going to do it, guys. I said I was going to knit. Oh, no. That's the knit. This beautiful one is the knit. This lacy one is crochet. I don't know. We'll see what I think about that. Crochet socks and knitted socks. But I didn't get the sock pattern. You know what? Way to go, KnitCrate. I'm so happy that you are putting crochet socks in there now. Because even though I'm still very scared about making socks, I'm saving up these little patterns. I was chatting with somebody in my last video's comments, and she summed me up perfectly. I got a tickle in my nose. I have lots of small knitting needles and crochet hooks. I have tons of sock yarn. I have lots of patterns. Now I just need to get the courage. Okay, so this is bundling blanket and bonnet set. Okay, maybe I won't be so offended by this. I want a full picture of the bundling blanket, though. To me, do you see that? That is the bundling blanket. Okay, so KnitCrate, I love you. I just said a bunch of really nice things about you. But now I'm going to talk about this bundling blanket. My personal preference in making baby blankets is to make smaller stitch blankets with less holes. I just don't like seeing their poor fingers and toes poking through those blankets. And this, to me, looks like it's going to be a very holy blanket. Plus, who's putting 100% Highland Peruvian wool on a baby? I've had 3, and I'm going to tell you, my sister has 3 and my brother has 2. There is a significant amount of spit up, throw up, drool, and poo and pee. I would not want that on 100% Peruvian wool. Let's be real. Plus, what kind of mom has the time to hand wash in cold water and lay flat to dry? So I'm going to say fail for the pattern, KnitCrate. This is not a good pattern to put with this yarn. Now, I suppose you can only make so many shawls and hat, right? I don't know. But if you're going to make, this is my tip for you guys. If you were going to make a baby blanket for some dear mother, maybe use some superwash merino, but holy cats, it's going to get washed a lot. Especially these days, you're not supposed to lay blankets on babies. It's a suffocation hazard. I know. I survived. My kids survived. But now that's a no-no. You have to wrap them up in sleep sacks and just lay them in an empty crib. So most blankets are now being used to stretch out on the floor for the baby to lay and play on in case you're somewhere where there's like kind of a questionable carpeting or dirty floor or a hardwood floor. Or moms drape them over in the winter up here in Wisconsin, drape them over the baby carriers because you don't want all that cold air blowing right on your baby. So I'm going to be honest, this is probably, I mean, I don't know. Listen to me being so judgmental. Maybe I'm cranky today. All right. So that's all I have to say about that bundling blanket. It's a skill level intermediate. And it's crocheted in the round. But I might make the bonnet pattern. The bonnet pattern is also made in the round. And they break it up to 6-month size, 6 to 12 month size. The neck is for all sizes, the bonnet rows. So you can make newborn 0 to 6 and 6 to 12. And there's a tie. Now, I'm going to be honest, I really need to figure out how to knit this. Skill level intermediate. Because this is what I want to make. I want to make this with that yarn. Not the green though, purple. Look at how beautiful that is. Okay, let's see what it says to see if I can do this. It says it's intermediate. You need some circulars. I can knit front and back. I can knit 1. PM. Oh, place marker. Knit 1, place marker. So you must be trying to keep track of your center row. Knit 3 purls. SM. Slip marker. Is that what the knitters call when they move the marker from one needle to the other? I don't know. I know what bind off means. I know what increase means. M1, increase 1 stitch by wrapping working yarn around RH. Is RH right hook? Can't be. It's a needle, not a hook. What does RH mean? Increase 1 stitch by wrapping working yarn around RH. Needle once while twisting it. Ooh. All right, well, that's that. I won't be making this pattern. Okay, so let's move on to the cute socks. I love how they have these cute socks on a gal with chubby calves. Us chubby calf gals got to stick together. But look at how, I don't know, maybe I'll have a knitter help me. Look how beautiful that line is. Nice, thin, so you can wrap around your neck. When they get too long in this area here, you can't wrap them around your neck, especially if you're largely busted because there's not a lot of room here to here for all that. Let's see what else they have. Here are the crocheted socks. The yarn is not as appealing to me. I don't like this black and yellow in with this pink and blue and purple. Stonemason socks. And then that's that. You know what, KnitCrate? Even though I just said a lot of sassy things about that blanket being with that yarn, I do like that there's crocheted socks in here. Okay, so that is my KnitCrate talking through the pattern. I'm super happy with my yarn. I'm super happy with the color choice. I just wish there was a more solid crocheted, thin, you know, I wish that the pattern is knitting was the crocheted one. But I'm not going to be a wine bag. I'm going to set that here. Then I'm going to talk to you all about a little personal thing. So if you are someone that is only here for yarn and knitting and crocheting talk and whatnot. This part's not for you. So aside from working a full-time job, oh, do I whine about that so much, you guys? I just have to get into a groove. This year has just been a big groove. It's been such a big jump to go from the daycare to working full-time as a teacher. But I will say the real blessing and the real wonderful part of all this is that just the other day, Flynn was out on the recess, slipped and fell, and I was there to run over, because I was on recess duty, and give my own baby a hug. And that is what really just one of those, that instance was one of the reasons I'm so happy that I am there working with my kids, even though I have a much more increased stress load due to working full time. I'm there with my kids. The thing that I really felt sad about at the daycare was that my kids were at school, they came home at 2:30, and I was there till 5:30, and my whole family was together in the house, and I was by myself at the daycare. So I'm so happy to be with my family. So with that being said, talking about my family, a few of you that are on Facebook, friends with me, and there's just a few, mostly podcasters, so don't feel personal, Yarny friend viewers. It's like Kayla, Mama Kayla, Jane Wynn, I think maybe Classy Kim, I don't know, sorry. Flynn is having some health issues. I know, like 98% of you really love Flynn. There's 2% of you, or maybe even like 0.5% that like to fuss about him. But I'm sure, even though you don't like seeing him stand around in the background making weird faces, I'm sure none of you would wish the health problems on him. So it's been about 2 weeks. It was on a Saturday. We were out doing Boy Scouts. We came home. We were just playing around the yard. And my husband, he's one of those guys that will he won't just put his arm on you. If he does, he'll give you a little rub, a little squeeze. And he reached over, Flynn and I were snuggling on the bed, and he gave Flynn's leg a little squeeze. And his leg was feeling swollen. And so then my husband reached over to his other leg and gave that a little squeeze. And that leg was very thin, like Flynn. Flynn is a very thin man. Flynn Young, he's a thin fella. And so my husband's like, hey, buddy, let's take a look at those legs. And so he pulled down his wind pants, because he'd been wearing wind pants all day. And his leg, now I'll tell you now, when we looked at it, we were like, wow, it's like double the size of his other thin leg. Now, because his leg is so thin, it looked big, but it turned out his fat leg, as we call it now, is 45 centimeters round, and his thin leg is 34 centimeters. So it's not double, but it looks unsightly because he's got skinny toothpick leg. So we took him to the ER after calling Grandma Mary, because Grandma Mary is a nurse, and she's like, I don't know what it is, but one of the symptoms of blood clots is a swollen leg, so you better take him in. So we took him in. They did ultrasounds on his legs and his veins. They gave him x-rays to check all his bones and his joints, see if there was fractures or anything in there. They took his blood, they took his urine, they did some testing, and they're like, you know what? All we can see is that his white blood cells are a little low, not abnormally horrible, but just a little lower. So maybe he has a virus and he's got meiosis, which I guess is a rare viral reaction. And they sent us on his way, and they said check in with his pediatrician. So that was a Saturday night, so we stayed at home Sunday. He has no other symptoms, y'all. Nothing else. He's not sick. He doesn't have a virus, runny nose, itchy, watery eyes. He doesn't have nauseous. He doesn't have diarrhea. He's not running or low temp. We haven't left Oshkosh. We haven't taken him anywhere to be around animals, like at a farm or a zoo. He doesn't have a rash. He doesn't have any area on his leg where it looks like an insect would have bitten him, like he has a little injection point, if you will, or like a mosquito bite. Nothing has changed. No dietary changes. He hasn't left the country, let alone the city. So they're like, we don't know what it is. It must be this reaction to a virus. Well, when we called his pediatrician said, you know what, I really can't treat him because I was the consulting doctor in the ER, and that's what I thought it was. You're going to have to take him to Children's. So my husband called back, and I chatted with the nurse, and she's like, you know what, you can go to Children's in Neenah, because there's one 20 minutes north. So we took him there. They did the same things, except for they did a CT scan in addition to the ultrasound, the x-ray, the blood work, the urine. We don't know what it is. You got to take him back to, no, they prescribed him a prednisone, And for 2 to 3 days, he was taking that. And they said, then go see your pediatrician on Friday. So we went to our pediatrician on Friday, no change, still fat leg. And he said, you need to bring him to Children's Hospital in either Madison or Milwaukee into the ER on Saturday, because this was Friday now. So luckily our insurance called us and said, don't go to Milwaukee, you need to go to Madison. And we're like, okay, good. He'd already been to Madison last year because Flynn has issues with eating food. They've decided after an endoscopy and a throat swallowing study that he must have at some point choked on food or got something caught in his throat, because now he's extra sensitive and worried about it and won't eat things that he thinks he'll choke on, or things that are too big, or he takes a really long time to chew things. Anyway, long side story. He was already in the system there. So we went to Madison. We had one assigned resident doctor that came in and looked at him. And then we had three more that came to look at him. And they're like, we've never seen or heard of anything. They, of course, asked all the same questions that I just clarified with you, that everyone always asks. Was he bitten by anything? Has he gone anywhere? Has he done anything? Blah, 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 blah. So then they decided to recommend him that this must be part of the lymph node system, the lymphatic system. So they recommended that a resident, a resident pediatrician plastic surgeon come down and look at him, because that is why his leg must be swelling. His lymph nodes must be pumping out the fluids and not draining them out of his leg. So she came in. Now, here is the miracle part of it all. So, are you okay, honey? Yeah. Okay, so she's like, we went in on a Saturday, and typically all the specialists and all the like non-residential doctors, they're not there on the weekends. And so they were a little put off that we came in. I'm like, our pediatrician told us to. So she's like, you know what? I don't know what this is, but it just so happens today, the plastic surgeon lymphatic specialist is in for a couple hours this morning, catching up on some work. I'm going to go get her and come bring her down in. So that, to me, the just so happens means that God brought her in on a day she wouldn't have back-to-back appointments, so that Flynn could come in and she'd be able to see him right away. So she came down, and she's like, of course, asked all the same questions. And she's like, she has no idea what it is. No idea. She's like, good news, though, he's not going to die. It's not cancer, and he's not going to lose his leg. And I'm like, I didn't even consider this poor kid losing his leg. I did think about cancer, though. But she's like, it's none of those. He doesn't have any cancer in his cells. We haven't seen any tumors. They did another ultrasound because they thought they saw something abnormal in his liver or kidneys. And after scanning it for like 30 minutes, they couldn't find anything. Because I guess there's some kind of rare something where you can have some kind of a fancy name tumor in your kidney or liver, and it can cause excess fluid, but he doesn't have that. So she's like, but next week there's a specialist from Boston coming down, and do you mind if I run by this case by him? I'm like, no, please do. And she's like, the week after that, there's a clinic gonna get together, and they call it a clinic, but it's a bunch of doctors that are specialists about things, and they get together and they talk over these tough cases. So again, she's like, can we talk about it there? And that's where I feel like this was like the right timing to bring him there. The specialist that knew about this system the most, and that knew that this other specialist was coming and this clinic was going to be there, she was there on a Saturday to see Flynn right before these two big things were coming. So she said, come back in 2 weeks. Call and schedule an appointment for 2 weeks from now after these two things happen, and hopefully we have some answers for you. So that's where we're at. Now, luckily, he has no pain. I will say it is a little uncomfortable around his knee and ankle area for walking. Sometimes you can see after a while, like, if we've walked a long distance, that he kind of, like, waddles a bit, and that it's not as easier for him to bend his knee. But, I mean, other than that, he has no pain. He's not upset. He's not crying. It isn't preventing him from doing the things that he needs to do in life. And so, I guess. But part of the reason I'm telling you all this is, one, that's part of the reason why the videos have even slowed down more. 2, I'm completely stressed. I need to get my, there's just it's so hard with 2 working parents. I could go on Saturday because I don't have school. I have school Monday through Friday. And then my husband's going to have to take a day off in a couple weeks to take him down. Because you can get a sub, but it's never the same. We all know that as former students and those of you that are teachers. It's never the same when there's a sub. And there's way more work for the teacher to either prepare an alternative lesson plan or to write everything out step by step by step for the sub. So keep them all in your prayers. That's why I'm telling you this. 2 reasons. 1, keep them all in your prayers or think positive thoughts. Whatever it is, send the positivity and the love and the prayers for Flynn. But also, if there's any of you out there that have had or seen this, thing in a child where one leg swells from toe to lower bum and nobody have any reason why or whatnot, feel free to, I'm not asking you all to go out and be WebMDs, but, there is a chance out of this 9,000 subscribers that maybe some of you or one of you maybe have seen or heard of this. Yeah. So we're just kind of wondering, what's going on. I'll tell you, though, the worst of it all was when they had him on the prednisone, because that caused severe hyperactivity, extreme hunger, and sleepless nights. And nobody likes that in a 6-year-old. So that's where we're at. The one last update I'll say, and this is a yarny thing. Somebody had messaged and asked me how far I come on my big gray blanket. And I have not done anything on it. I was making that secret pass shawl. I was making this faded ombre. I'm still working on this one. Or shaded color. And I'm doing this with that Rhapsody Yarn Bee yarn that I just reviewed. See how it goes from black to black and purple, purple and aqua, aqua and whatever. That's what I've been making with this shaded color shawl, Lion Brand. I must have linked that pattern like a million times to all these videos. I make it a lot lately. It's like my new, what was that shawl I made all the time? Adirondack wrap. This is like this year, 2018, it was the Adirondack wrap. 2018 or 2019, it's the shaded color shawl. So that's all I've been doing. I have not worked on that big gray blanket. I really need to get cracking because it's 37 degrees here in Wisconsin and it's starting to get cold. So yeah, that's what I've got for my yarn chat. Please, like I said, please keep Flynn in his prayers, and we're going through life. It's working. It's working well. And I got another week on my Color Street nails. Do you see them? They're so pretty and sparkly. Yep. One more week. Although I have been told by some of you that you can't leave them on for too long. You'll dry out your nail beds. So I got to take these off, I'm thinking, because I think I'm into my 3rd week with them, and they just look just as beautiful as ever. All right, so thanks for watching and subscribing. Thanks for liking and sharing my videos. And until then, happy crafting.
Bye.
Bye. You want a quick pop-up? Bye.